Yamadevāha. We chanted it now. It is the peace chant on the Upanishadic wisdom, the Shanti mantra, which we have to chant before this particular Upanishad. Meaning of this peace chant or the Shanti mantra, Bhadrang Karane Vishrunuyama Devaha, is Om, O gods, may our ears hear and our eyes see only what is auspicious and beneficial. May we worship the Almighty with our steadied limbs and minds through sacrifices scrupulously performed. As long as we live, we may do all these things. May Indra, the chief among gods, grant us divinity. May the omniscient Pushan, the nourisher of the universe, give us strength. May Tarkshya, the destroyer of all evils, save us from all evil tendencies. And may Brihaspati, the divine preceptor, Guru, Deva Guru, grant us the knowledge of Brahman. May all-round peace, physical, mental and spiritual, be on us forever. Om. So this is the simple meaning of that Shanti mantra, Bhadrang Karane Vishrunuyama Devaha. So this particular mantra is to be chanted before this Upanishad commences. We have chanted that. Now we will chant the seventh mantra, and with the simple meaning of that seventh mantra, we will go into the details from where we had left in the last class. The seventh mantra of the Mandukya Karika is Nantaf Pragnam, Na Bahish Pragnam, No Bhayata Pragnam, Na Pragnana Ghanam, Na Pragnam, Na Pragnam, Adrishtam, Avyavaharyam, Agrahyam, Alakshanam, Achintyam, Avyapadeshyam, Ekatma Pratyayasaram, Prapanchopashamanam, Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham, Manyante, Sa Atma, Sa Vigneyaha. So now we have chanted the seventh mantra. Here we will see the simple meaning of this seventh mantra. So here the seventh mantra is discussing or describing about our Atman or the Paramatman or the Turiya state. So this Atman or consciousness, pure consciousness, Turiya, is not that which is conscious of the internal subjective world, nor that which is conscious of the external objective world, nor that which is nor that which is conscious of both Ubayataha, nor that which is a mass of sentiency, nor that which is simple consciousness, nor that which is insentient. It is unseen by any sense organ. It cannot be comprehended by any sense organs, nor is it related to anything incomprehensible by the mind. Uninferable, Anumana also you cannot comprehend with the inference, Anumana, uninferable. It cannot be thought of, unthinkable, indescribable, essentially of the nature of consciousness. constituting the self alone. So negation of all the phenomena, the peaceful, all bliss, and the non-dual Advaitam. This is what is known as the fourth Turiya. This is the Atman, and it has to be realized. So the nature of our true self, our Atman, is given in this seventh verse. So we shall go one by one, taking up all those. We've already described some of those aspects, and we will go deeper into that meaning. Now, they consider this Turiya, that which is not the outward consciousness, that is in the waking state. We are associated with the outward consciousness, nor the inward consciousness. So in the dream state, Swapnavastha, we are associated with the inward consciousness. Not that consciousness turned both sides. So consciousness, our Atman, is not associated neither with the waking state nor with the dream state, or both. So now in the third state, that is the deep sleep, Sushupti, it is just reflected consciousness. So now here it is mentioned, not a mass of consciousness, not the all-knowing consciousness, nor is it unconscious. So it is beyond perception, beyond transaction, beyond grasp, beyond inference, beyond thoughts, beyond description, traceable through the unbroken self-awareness, free from the world, tranquil, auspicious, that is Shiva, and non-dual. So this is Atman. It is to be known. You have to experience it. You have to become one with it. So this is the simple meaning of the seventh verse. So why are we to study this seventh verse? Because that is the real nature of our self, the Atman. Shouldn't we know the nature of our self? Now, we have seen all the different mantras from 1 to 6, and now we are studying the seventh mantra in the Mandukya Karika. We came to know the simple meaning. We also in the last class came to know in all these three states, it is not the Turiya or the Atman which is associated. It is pure consciousness. Then even in the Samadhi or in the deep sleep state, if you cannot comprehend in the waking state or in the dream state, then what is the use? So here in this seventh mantra, our great Acharya, Gaudapada, is giving us a very special way by which we can, even in this waking state, intellectually, we can dissociate or disassociate from all these three states and then wonderfully be with that awareness of the consciousness. That is why this shloka is very, very important, where we are given to know what is that awareness intellectually, experientially, and also physically. We cannot associate or dissociate because consciousness is everywhere. There is no place where there is no consciousness. Now, our great Acharya Gaudapada, the Paramaguru of Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, the Guru of Adi Shankaracharya is Govindapada. And the Paramaguru, the Guru of Govindapada is Gaudapada Acharya, who is giving this Karika. So now he's giving this wonderful way by which we can get the benefit of awareness or disassociating with all these three states and be in our own state, the real Atman, understand our real nature of the pure consciousness. So we had discussed about that in detail in the earlier verses. Now we shall continue the discussion from where we had left in the last session. We separate the Turiya, the Atman, from the three states by knowledge. That is what Gaudapada Acharya gave us this new method to dissociate all these three states, the Turiyam, from all these three states by knowledge. So this is the essence of Māṇḍūkya Upanishad. This has to be understood. Knowledge has to take place in the waking state. How can knowledge help us or all of us dissociate from the three states? The knowledge that I gain from the study of Upanishad is that I, the real I, that is me, the experiencer, consciousness principle, am the Satyam, is the truth. And all the other three states belonging to the lower order of the reality is called Mithya, untrue. So I am as the self, the reality, only reality. The other three states, that is the Jagrat, the waking, Swapna, dream, Sushupti, the deep sleep, they are all Mithya, untrue. The moment I get this knowledge, the highest dictum or the highest essence of Vedanta, Brahma, Satya, Jagan, Mithya. All these three states, or whatever states it might be, intermediary, all that is untrue because it is changing, it is fleeting, it is temporary. But I, the experiencer, the eternal subject, pure consciousness is the only reality. So we have intellectually understood this. This knowledge, I've got this knowledge now intellectually. So the moment I get this knowledge that I am the pure consciousness, the only truth, eternal truth, I'm dissociated from all the other three states. So now I have intellectually got dissociated from the three states. Satya and Mithya can never be associated. Just like light and darkness cannot coexist, so truth and the untruth cannot coexist. They cannot be associated. They may be in proximity. They are in proximity but cannot be associated. Now, the example is given about the mirage water and sand. They look as if they are together. But the mirage water cannot wet the sand. So if you go to the desert or even if you are traveling when there is a lot of heat, so you see that even while traveling on the vehicle, on the road, as if there is water there. At a long distance, there is water. And it looks as if it had rained earlier. But as you go on nearer and nearer that water on the road, it too moves away, away, away. Looks as if it exists, but in reality, it doesn't exist. That phenomena happens a lot in the desert, and that is called mirage. So in the desert, you see there is sand. That is the reality. But when you see from a distance, it looks as if there is this water, beautiful fresh water. So as you go nearer and nearer, the water body also goes away and away. Then finally you come to that spot and see there is no water at all. So it looks to us as if the water exists there in the mirage. Just like the reality there in the desert, the sand cannot be associated with the water of the mirage. The mirage water and the sand are together, but the mirage water cannot wet the sand. Other example given is movie. You go to the picture, the movie, or the cinema. What happens there? Movie and the screen are in proximity, but they are not associated. Now, likewise, I, the real nature of mind, pure consciousness, the Atman, the seeming waker, the seeming dreamer, and the deep sleep. We look as if we are associated with that factually, but in reality, we are not. We are that Turiya, the Atmaswarupa, the real nature. I, the pure consciousness, appear as the waker, the dreamer, or sleeper, but not actually do we become the waker, the Jagrat, the dreamer, the Swapana, or the sleeper, deep sleep. So, to understand this intellectually, we shall go to that wonderful concept of the mirage. So, now this mirage example has been given. In the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda has taken up this concept of mirage and he explains about it. So now, with a clear concept of this mirage, we can get the idea of dissociation from all these three states. Swami Vivekananda tells, once in Western India, that is Rajasthan and bordering Gujarat and that place, Western India, I was traveling in the desert country on the coast of Indian Ocean. So Kutch and also the Thar desert. Once in Western India, I was traveling in the desert country. For days and days, I used to travel on foot through the desert. During the Parivrajak itinerant monk, he traveled all over India on foot, walking every village. For days and days, I used to travel on foot through the desert. But it was to my surprise, I saw everyday beautiful lakes with trees all around them, and the shadows of the trees upside down vibrating there. How wonderful it looks! And they call this a desert country. So Vivekananda is thinking himself, I said to myself, nearly a month I traveled seeing these wonderful lakes and trees and plants. One day I was very thirsty and I wanted to have a drink of that water. So I started to go to one of these clear, beautiful lakes and I approached it. As I approached that water, it vanished. And with a flash, it came to my mind, it came to my brain. This is mirage, about which I have read all my life. And with that came also the idea that throughout the whole of this month, every day, I had been seeing this mirage and did not know it at all. The next morning, I began to march again. There was again the lake, but with it came also the idea that it is the mirage. Now, once you go there and see, understand it, now see Swami Vivekananda got the intellectual knowledge. Though the next day he's seeing the association of the water with the sand in the desert, but he cannot be fooled now because he has the knowledge. So likewise, that knowledge of the truth and the untruth, Satya and the Mithya, that is our true nature, the Atman, the Turiya. If we separate that from all these three states, neti neti, na iti, marga, then that we get that intellectual conviction. That is what we are now trying to get. We will go to see what Swami Vivekananda tells about the mirage. That knowledge will help us to understand this better. So now Swami Vivekananda tells, there was again the lake, but with it came also the idea that it was the mirage and not a true lake. So now the sand, the reality of the desert is not associated with the water, even though it looks as if it is associated. Like the cinema or the movie or the picture, what you call, though it is playing on the screen, but it is not associated with the screen. So now Vivekananda tells, there was again the lake the next day when I started marching in the desert, but with it came also the idea that it was the mirage and not a true lake. So is it with this universe, says Swami Vivekananda. We are all traveling in this mirage of the world day after day, month after month, year after year, not knowing that it is a mirage. So this whole universe is like that mirage, it is just an appearance. Our reality is something else. We are associating with this world, with this universe in that three states. Not only the three states, the Jagrat, Swapna, and Susupchi, the waking, the dreamer, dreaming state, and the deep sleep state, but also there are other facets. What is that? Past, present, and future. In all these aspects, we are wrongly associating with this universe. It looks as if it is there, just like this mirage. Swami Vivekananda is telling, so is it with this universe. We are all traveling in this mirage of the world day after day, month after month, year after year, not knowing that it is mirage. One day it will break up, but it will come back again. Now Swami Vivekananda got the idea. He went there and saw it was not the water, it was a mirage. It was just looking as if the water is associated with the stand there. But after getting the knowledge, it broke up. But next day to it appears. So after getting this knowledge, even then, when you come to this world after this study, you'll see the world, the difficulties, the problem, the people you hate and love, and so many other things are there. But in reality, it is not there. So what is the help of all these study? See, now when you come to know it is unreal, then you will not worry. When you think that this world, the circumstances, the difficulties are real, then you'll start worrying, you will be into tension, depression, and so many other things. But when you get this knowledge, at least intellectually, if you are convinced, the study of the Upanishad, what is the help? But now you can be in peace. You will not be associated with all these difficulties. When you come to know it is unreal, then why will you worry about the unreal? That is why we are studying this Upanishad, by which you can get lot of peace, happiness, and joy. Now, let us see what Swami Vivekananda is telling about this mirage, the appearance, this world, connecting that to the world. So is it with this universe. We are all traveling in this mirage of the world day after day, month after month, year after year. So when we cry and cry and cry, we are thinking that everything is real, not knowing that it is a mirage. One day it will break up. When you go and see, when you understand, now you have understood it, it has broken up. But it will come back again. The body has to remain under the power of the past karma. And so the mirage will come back. This world will come back upon us so long as we are bound by this karma. Men, women, animals, plant, our attachments and duties, all will come back to us, but not with the same power. Under the influence of the new knowledge, the strength of karma will be broken. Its poison will be lost. It becomes transformed. For along with it, there comes the idea that we know it now. And the sharp distinction between the reality and the mirage has been known. See, the same concept with the help of the mirage, Vivekananda has explained that so wonderfully. So now, with this concept of the mirage, you can understand this verse, 7th verse, and the Gaudapada's Karika very nicely. It is now clear that knowledge, the separation between the three states and yourself, the eternal witness, your true self, the Atman, you are gradually getting it. You have to confirm it. You have to assert it. You have to have the awareness. Mirage water and sand are together, but the mirage water cannot wet the sand. Movie or the cinema and the screen are in proximity, but they are not associated. Though it looks as if your Atman is associated with the waking state, with all its vagaries, with all the problems and happiness and joys and other people and materials, but in reality, you are not associated with that. Or in the dream state, you are undergoing so many the memories. You have gone through the memories, the samskaras of the past life or this life, whatever memories are there in your mind. So you go through the dreams, but you are not really associated with that. The deep sleeps too, you are not associated with that state, the third state. You are the Turiya, the fourth, it is not a state. So now, movie and the screen are in proximity, but they are not associated. I am my real nature. All of you are the seeming waker who is in the waking state, experiencing everything. You are the seeming dreamer, and you are the seeming deep sleeper. But actually and factually, I am the Turiya, the Atman, the Paramatman, the Parabrahman. All the time I'm that. I only appear as the waker in the waking state. I only appear as the dreamer. I only appear as the deep sleeper, but not actually become that. I only play just like in the drama. We have given the example of the drama. You may be an actor and you go to the stage there and you'll be taking up different roles. You'll be acting like a beggar sometime. You'll be acting like a king. You'll be acting like a officer. You'll be acting like a military man. So only when you are in the drama on the stage, you are associated with that part, role. After that, when you come back to the house, even though you may be in the same dress as you were in the stage, but will you go on continuing to associate with that? So it is just like that. We are all the Turiya, the Atman, the Parabrahman. But in the drama of this life, in this stage of this universe, we associate with different roles at different times. And if you think that you are that role, then all the problem comes. If you dissociate now, you have got the intellectual knowledge. You are playing only these roles. So don't get associated with that. In the drama, while you are in the drama, well and good. But even while you are playing the drama, you may be completely identifying with that role. But in the heart of heart, you will be knowing that you are not a beggar, you are not an emperor, you are not a military man or whatever, the policeman. It is just a role you are playing. Likewise, here too you have to play that role. Wonderfully, in a simple way, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has given the way by which you can live in this world like a maid servant. The maid servant lives in the family of the master. She will look after the children of the master, the owner of the house, as if they were all her own children. She will address them, my Rama, my Govinda, my Shiva. The children are called my Lakshmi. So all the children are looked after by the maid as if they were her own children. She will look after the house and everything as if it is her own. But in the mind, in the heart of her heart, she knows that anytime the master can kick her out, terminate her from the job. Then she's not at all attached. She goes to another house. She will do that household duties with the same attachment, with the same love. She treats the children of the other master. So each time she is playing different role in different houses as a maid servant. She knows in the heart that my house is in the village and my children are different. Likewise, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa tells that God is your own true nature, your own. All this world you are living with your real wife, real husband, real father, mother, children, that's only temporary. The moment the master of this universe asks you to quit this world, or they quit, some of them, the family members who are near and dear to you, then if you are associating, if you are identifying with that role, you will feel the pain. If you think that God is my true nature, my own, nothing else, my house is there in the Turiya, in the Vaikunta, in the Kailasa, in the Devi Loka, in the Krishna Loka. When you identify yourself with the Turiya, the highest, your pure consciousness, your true nature, then there will be no pain. So, in a simple way, Ramakrishna explains that wonderful concept. So, here, with this idea of the actor, the role you play, you will understand better. What a wonderful example. Now, we are playing only these roles. Therefore, when Mandukya Upanishad says the Turiya, it is said to be the fourth quarter of the Atman, but in reality, there is no fourth quarter. So that is the reality. There is no fourth that alone exists. The other three doesn't exist at all. This is the only reality. That's why you cannot call this Turiya, this high state or your true nature as the fourth state. That is the only true state. That is your Atman, that is your true self, that is the Turiya. However, we take it for the sake of conversation and identification and comparison as the fourth. It is not the fourth, but it is only the Atman. I should know that Turiya, we should know that Turiya, our real nature, by claiming, by asserting that I am the Turiya, I am that Atman. So, which is a thought now, which should happen in our waking state. It is difficult to have that in our dream state because it is not in our control. But at least it is possible in our waking state. We can do that. Assert all the time, again and again. We will be deluded by this world and the external happenings. Our body, our mind, our ego will drag our mind outside to the world and make it associate with those things. But in the waking state, you have all the possibilities now to take it back and identify and assert back your true nature. That is why here Gaudapada Acharya is telling this is a wonderful state. This is a wonderful way by which we can assert, we can be aware, we can be mindful of our true state. We have to assert it that we are the Turiya, we are the Atman, we are the Paramatman. We have to claim, though it is a thought now, but continuously when you are doing that, whatever you think you become. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. So Brahmavit Brahmaiva bhavati. So the person who understands Parabrahman or Atman, he becomes Brahman himself because that is the truth. He's not separately getting something new. That is his true nature. You are already that. So you have to claim back your true nature. You have to claim back your kingdom, the real kingdom, the Turiya. So the nature of that Turiya or your Atman true nature is described in the mantra 7. Each description is profound, worth meditating for many, many days or weeks to take up one, each aspect. That's what we studied just now in the mantra. So each of that has to be taken up, meditated upon, heard first Shravana, and then Manana, and then meditation. We have to deeply meditate on that. So that is the very speciality of this 7th mantra. Each description is profound, worth meditating on for weeks and months together. Gaudapada Acharya will extensively elaborate on this mantra in the later chapters. I am not the waker, I am not the dreamer, and I am not the deep person in the deep sleep. Even when I appear as all of three, I am playing that role. I have three appearances. I have three roles now. And inside that each three role, you may be having so many different roles too. But in reality, you are the Turiya. Assert that you are the Turiya, you are the Atman, you are the Paramatman. I am different from the waking or the waker. I am different from the dreamer, and I am different from the sleeper. I am that conscious principle that seems to have the different status of the waker, dreamer, or the deep sleeper. This is the first part of the description. Now, we are going to the second part of the description. What is that? In the second part of the description is that Turiya, or your real nature, is not an object available in any one of these three states. You cannot objectify the Atman. So what is your second description of your nature, true nature? The first one you saw is we are all different from these different roles we play in the waking state, in the dream state, and in the deep sleep state. The second thing which it is telling here, this mantra, second part of the description is that Turiya. Assert that you are the Turiya, you are the Atman, you are the Parabrahman. It is not an object, you cannot objectify it. It is not available as an object in any of these three states. So don't make the effort of searching for it. You are trying to search joy, you are trying to search in the outer world, in different objects, trying to get more cars, more ornaments, more people around you, so many things. You are amassing wealth, money, but it is all slipping away from your hand. Everything is slipping away. So many dreams are slipping away. So why? You cannot objectify the Atman. That is the only thing which is there. That is the only substance. And you are trying to objectify that Atman in the form of different sense material or material luxuries in the outer world, which is slipping away because it cannot be objectified. So the second description here is Turiyam, your true nature, is not an object available in any of these three states. So don't search for the Turiyam or joy, the Ananda, Satchit Ananda existence, consciousness, bliss in any of the three states, in any of the material or the people. You can't get it. It's not an object of knowledge. Neither can you see it outside or inside. Outside in the waking state, or in your mind or your memory or in your dream state. It is not an object of knowledge. It is not available for our sense organs, the organ of action, it is not available for knowledge or karma or any phenomena or transaction. So now we have come to know two descriptions given here about your true nature. Okay, though it is all in the negative, what is that helpful to us? To assert our true nature. That is the way by which Vedanta takes us, negating it. You are not that. Na iti, neti, neti. You are not that, you are not that. So the third description is beyond inference. What is meant by inference, Anumana? So it's one of the ways, the pramana by which we can know things. You should understand what is inference, Anumana. The example given is, suppose yonder, that mountain, you see some smoke. So what can you infer? What is the Anumana? That if there is smoke far away behind that mountain, then there should be fire. So by inference, you can know that there is fire when there is smoke. So that is called inference, Anumana. So this is one of the ways by which we get the knowledge. Pramana. The pratyaksha pramana is you are seeing it with your own eyes. Though you are seeing this universe, that is untrue, it is changing. So the second way by which we can have knowledge is you cannot see with your organs the two small things inside. Just like the microscope, you can see the microbes, bacteria and other things, amoeba. Then beyond, far away some distance, you can't see by your sense organs. Pratyaksha, you can't see it. So inference, Anumana, by different things you can infer Anumana. So that is called inference. So your true nature cannot be known even by inference, Anumana. That is the Atman, your true nature, cannot be known by, it is beyond inference, Anumana. There is nothing else. Why? Because if you have to infer something which you cannot see far away, because your own true nature, that is consciousness or Atman or Parabrahman, is the only thing which it is there. When that is the only thing there, what will you infer? Where is the question of inference or Anumana? That's why it is beyond inference. Inference also doesn't work here. This pramana also will not work. There is nothing else other than Atman or Parabrahman or the Turiya. And so it cannot be inferred. Then the other description given in this mantra is the Atman or your true nature or the Parabrahman is beyond thoughts. So you have so much of thought, vrittis, you are thinking constantly, thought power, the mind. In the mind, you will be having so many millions of thought processes going on. So with that continuous thought, you understand so many things. The sense organs goes out and it brings in so much of knowledge, seeing everywhere. And then it creates thoughts or vrittis in my mind. Then I understand things with my thoughts. Now, you cannot understand this, your true nature, by thoughts. It's beyond thoughts. It is not available for sensory objectification or even mental objectification. No one can claim that he or she has experienced this Atman Turiyam, because it is the eternal subject. So how can that be experienced or objectified either physically or mentally? So our true nature, the Atman, is not available for sensory objectification or even mental objectification, that is thought. No one can claim that he or she has seen the Atman or Paramatman, Turiya. It does not have any color or form, does not have any quality. So that's why you cannot understand, it is beyond thought. What is the other description given by this wonderful seventh mantra about your true nature? You should be very, very alert and you should feel that, because you are studying about your true nature, your real nature. Then how much alert you should be. Yes, it is difficult because all our mind is made to think of only outside, the material things. You are never studied, faced yourself. You are never gone inside and never in your life have you tried to understand, go back and see yourself, face yourself. Now for the first time we are doing all these things. So it will be definitely difficult, because all our mind, our thought, our indriyas, everything, the sense organs are trained to think of the outside, objectify everything. Everything is reversed, as if now the Ganga has started in the Himalayas and flowing to the Bay of Bengal. So we are taking back again to its original source and diverting it into different direction. So how difficult it is, can you imagine that? So it is just like that. But it's your true nature. There is no other go. You have to understand it. Though things are easy, should we go in for that? No. Though this knowing our true nature is difficult, we should never give up. So now, what is the other description given by this seventh mantra? That this Atman is beyond description. You cannot describe that. Earlier it is beyond thought perception. So now here the Upanishad of the seventh mantra is telling it is beyond description. It cannot be described by words. It is indescribable. See, we describe so many things in this world, isn't it? Through poetry, through writings, through prose, and through your words. So you describe so many things. Words are used. Now, how will the word function? What is it necessary for words? Words can function in only 5 areas of description. What are they? The 5 areas are: it should be specific substance. For example, human being or mango tree. In the human being is generic. In that you specify somebody, husband, wife, or child, you tell that name. So it is specific. So the 5 different areas here for the words to function is, it should be specific substance. Example, mango tree. And the second area is generic substance. So mango tree, the family of tree. So individual person and the human being, generic. Then property. There should be property for you to describe in words. What are the properties? Color, form, so many other properties. You go to the laboratory and you take up some chemical and start studying. What is the nature, property of that? You taste it, oh, it is bitter. You smell it, oh, it is pungent or something else. So it is just like that. So it should have some property, color, form, varieties of activities, and relationship. What is the relationship with the tree? If it is mango tree, it will give mango fruit and I can eat it. Or a person, human being, who is he? He is my father. You have some relationship. She is my mother, relationship. So these are the 5 areas with which the words can function. Any word in any language, take up any language, can function only with these 5 areas. But your Atman, your real nature, Turiya, does not fall into any of these 5 categories, areas. Specifically, there is no second thing of the same order of reality as yourself, Atman or Parabrahma. So it cannot have any relationship. Turiyam cannot be described by the words. So this is the other property given of your true nature in the 7th mantra. So the next property is, it is free from the word. So we will take up and describe and understand, negate it, dissociate from this world and understand our Atman, know our Atman intellectually. So in Bhagavad Gita 2, Lord Krishna in the 2nd chapter is described about the nature of your true self, the Atman. If you study the 2nd chapter, you get all these things. That is only the essence of Upanishad. Krishna is also taken from the Upanishad only. So many words there in some of the Bhagavad Gita is toto from the Upanishad. As it is, Krishna quotes there. So many there. So it is just the essence of Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita. So now, so it's very, very necessary to face ourselves, to know ourselves. All these days, we were knowing, yes, immediately after this class, you have to go and do all your works and get associated. You have to play your role as a wife or a husband or a officer or whatever, so many different roles. But sometimes you should also know your reality, face back and understand your true nature. It's very, very important because that is your true nature. So we will continue this study tomorrow. If it is the will of the God, we will study. Today we started late because just sharp at 6 o'clock electricity power failure was there. So I had to go. It was all dark. I had to go put on the generator and make all the arrangements, turn over the from the mains to the generator, put up all the other gadgets, and only for our this thing. So it took a little time. I'm sorry for starting it late. It was not in my hand. So I was late by 11 minutes or so. Sorry for that. So tomorrow we will try to do the things beforehand and keep everything ready and start at 6 o'clock tomorrow, if everything is the will of the Lord. So we will stop our discussion today with the Shanti Mantra from the Vedas. If you have any questions, I think there are in the Google Live, there are only few people. Now, any questions on the live chat? YouTube live chat, are there any questions? There are no questions or doubts on the YouTube. So we can conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.